So I have Christina laying on her side, and we are going to do a series that's going to help strengthen the outside of the hip, in particular the gluteus medius and the piriformis. These two muscles get a lot of action when we're hooping. They also get overstretched if we're sitting with our legs crossed in front of us, Indian style, or if you sit with one leg crossed over the other, it can cause imbalances in these muscles. Now, whether these muscles are overstretched or if they're too tight, both cases, these exercises are going to be really great for restoring balance in that area. So I'm going to have her line up. I'm going to ask her that she brings her bottom shoulder back towards me so that the top shoulder is right on top. So just scoot this one back a little more, shoulder. Yeah, there you go. Does that feel okay? Mm-hmm. Good. And then I'm going to have her allow her top hip to reach away from her rib cage. So she's going to try to find a little bit of length in the top waist. That'll create length in the bottom waist, and it'll stack both of her hip bones right on top of each other. She's going to find the abdominal activation and that rib cage connection that we learned with Nick not too long ago, and that's going to help keep the spine and the pelvis stable while we work the leg. So the first exercise we have is going to abduct the leg. She's simply going to allow the top leg to raise up to hip height, and then she's going to lower it back down to the bottom leg. And repeat. We're going for about 8 or 10 of these. And as she raises the leg, we want to make sure that the pelvis stays quiet, which is why I've got my hand here for a little bit of touch information. Good. You want to be sure that you're not raising the legs higher than the hip. It just goes to the hip and then lower. Good. So you could take a little tiny bit out, about 2% out. Good. You can relax the foot. Good. And let's say we have about 2 more here. Good. And then lifting one more time. She's just going to hold this last one for a count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest it down. That was a surprise. How'd that one feel?
Good.
Good. Great. Okay. So moving on, we've got 3. That was 1. The second one is going to be an internal-external rotation clamshell. What? So she's going to keep both feet together. She's going to keep the pelvis stable, but she's going to turn her top thigh bone out. So the knee is going to rotate towards the ceiling, but the feet stay together. Beautiful. Then she's going to internally rotate that top thigh bone, rotating the knee towards the opposite knee. Lovely. And repeat. So we're turning out. Good. And we're turning back in, knee to knee. Good. And again, the same idea applies. We want to try to keep the pelvis as stable as possible. So as she rotates out, we want to be careful that the hip doesn't open to the ceiling. We're trying to keep those hips stacked. Same thing when she rotates in. We don't want the whole pelvis to collapse to the floor. So keeping stable, belly is pulled in. Good. And let's take about 3 more. Turning out. Good. Pull the belly in and turning in. Yeah, you can see that contraction. That's helping to keep the pelvis stable. Looks really good. Out and turning in. Good job, girl. 1 more. And turning out. Good. And turning in. Good. And then you're just going to rest that top leg down. Hang out. Feeling okay? You feel the work?
Yeah.
Yeah. That one's not easy, is it?
No.
Okay. So last one. And again, just bring the ear to the block. Yep. Alignment from head to tail. The last one, she's going to abduct that top leg 1 more time to hip height. And she's going to imagine she's got a piece of chalk on her knee, and she's going to draw tiny little circles with the knee. The foot can relax. Good. Then we're going for about 8 or 10 of these as well. Abs are drawn in, ribs are knitted tight. Good. Trying to keep that pelvis quiet. So we're really isolating the activation in her lateral rotators, the piriformis and its 5 other rotating friends. Good. You can touch down, hang out 1 moment, and then come right back up and we reverse those circles. Same thing. drawn in. Ribs closed. Good. And again, just forget about the lower leg and think about the knee circling the thigh bone. 4, 3, 2, good. She gets a stretch. The bottom leg extends all the way. The top knee comes down to the mat. The top hand makes a fist. Take a little hammer to your butt first. Yep. Good. And then I'm going to get out of the way, and then she's going to rotate open